Our third story out front, birth tourism. It's a booming business in the United States. Chinese companies operating in the shadows are luring pregnant women to the United States to give birth, all in the hopes of getting U.S. citizenship for their newborns.
The United States' history has been marked by waves of immigration dating back well beyond Ellis Island. Today, its population is practically defined by its wide variety of races and cultures. This is my family. We are from South Korea, and we've been studying in the U.S. for 3 years. During that time, I became a father, and because my son was born here in the U.S., he has dual citizenship. Since the birth of my son, I've become aware of a great deal of tension and controversy regarding immigration and foreign mothers giving birth in the U.S. But I got a welcome letter from the White House for my son.
Welcome to the world. Your arrival is a cause for great celebration for your family. We wish you a long and happy life, filled with chances to learn, ideas to explore, people to love, and dreams to fulfill. Birth tourism is the term used to describe pregnant women traveling to a country that confers citizenship on all who are born there, so that the baby will be a citizen of the destination country as well as the country of origin.
To scrutinize this sensitive issue, I went to visit the LA Times, one of the largest news companies in Southern California.
The birthing business is pretty widespread in Southern California. I specifically researched the ones that are for women from China and Taiwan, although, as you know, Koreans also do this too. A lot of families who live in Asia want their children to be U.S. citizens, so they will come here to give birth to the baby, who then, because they were born on U.S. soil, are U.S. citizens. And they stay at these facilities that are known as maternity hotels. So that's the business aspect of it.
네, 조련입니다.
저는 SDSU 대학원생인데요.
네.
제가 논문 작품으로 이중 국적이랑 원정 출산에 대해서 조사를 좀 하고 있어요. 혹시 실례가 되지 않으면 저기 계신 산모들 좀 제가 만나 뵙고 인터뷰 좀 할 수 있을까요?
네, 산모 인터뷰요?
네.
저희는 그런 거 안 하는데요.
아, 이거 학생 작품이라 뭐 다른 불이익이나 이런 건 없는데.
죄송한데요. 그거 저희 민감한 문제인 거 아시잖아요. 예, 저희 관심 없습니다.
The more I tried, the more resistance I encountered. Nonetheless, I became more and more interested in exploring the issue. As it happens in San Diego, the very people at the forefront of the immigration controversy were everywhere to be found. Around here, stories of Mexican nationals giving birth on the U.S. side of the border are legion. I have gotten to know many of these second-generation dual citizens, not just Mexican, but Asians as well. I wanted to know what they felt were the advantages of dual citizenship and what loyalties or sense of identity they felt to both countries. Sujin is married to Jason, who was adopted from Korea by U.S. citizens. Sujin is expecting a new baby. Jason is a U.S. citizen, and Sujin has Korean citizenship. They are expecting a girl, a baby who will automatically become a U.S. citizen as well as a Korean citizen, because she will be born in the U.S. even though her mother, Susan, is Korean.
제이슨이 엄청 놀라더라고요. 제가 막 고등학교 때 야자를 뭐 몇 시까지 했네, 학원을 몇 개 다녔네 뭐 이러면 안 믿어요. 상상도 못해요, 정말.
남편이랑 참 얘기해봤어요? 원정 출산에 대해서?
네, 얘기해봤어요.
뭐래요?
남편은 정말 그 돈을 내고 여기까지 와서 애를 낳냐 이거죠. 남편은 그냥 X에 놀라요. X에.
이해를 못하는 거예요? 왜?
남았으니까. 뭐가 제일 많이 필요해요?
가제수건.
아, 그거는 한국에서 지금 오고 있어요.
아, 그래요? 엄마 보내준.
가죽수건이나 베네 쪼고리 같은 거, 유판 이런 거.
아,
유판.
유판 필요.
그냥 이거는 정말 언니 거 사다가 그냥 같이 산 거, 하나 더 추가해서 산 거.
애기 리본.
이거는 이뻐서.
여기서 사서 한국으로 보내준 거예요?
네. 언니도 딸? 언니도 딸.
아, 참, 그러고 보니까 언니가 원정 출산
네.
한번 시도하려고 했었어요?
물어봤어요. 네. 그래서 가격을 말해줬죠. 처음에는 이해를 못했거든요. 근데 저희 언니한테 연락이 오더라고요. 혹시 자기 너가 있는 곳에 가서 아기를 낳아도 되냐고. 그래갖고 언니한테 언니가 만약에 여건이 되면 오라고 했죠. 근데 알아봤더니 비용이 어마어마하더라고요. 그래서 나중에 교육을 생각한다면 그럴 수도 있을 것 같아요.
Jason was born in Korea, but was adopted when he was very young. He grew up in the U.S. with no exposure to Korean culture.
I would be curious why people would come from, if the parents are of one nationality, why they would go to another country to provide a second nationality to their children. Like, I just don't understand that.
The idea of foreign mothers deliberately giving birth in the U.S. is not easy for him to understand.
많은 미국인들이 원정 출산을 안 좋게 보고 있긴 하지만 원정 출산해서 낳은 아이들이 나중에 커서 미국에 다시 돌아와서 도움이 될 수도 있다고 생각을 해요.
A lot of children who were born in the U.S. do indeed return to their home country after getting U.S. citizenship. Then they come back to the U.S. around their teenage years to get a better education. Justin Jae-hyung was born in the U.S., but he grew up in Korea. He has been here in the U.S. for only a year, so we talked in Korean.
한국 사람인 동시에 한국계 미국인이라고 이렇게 생각합니다. 즉, 둘 다라고 생각합니다. 저는, 저 자신을. 저는 반드시 12학점 이상 들어야 된다는 그런 요상이 정되는 것도 아니고, 그리고 일을 할 수 있는 권리가 충분히 보장되어 있기 때문에 다른 학생들과 달리 원한다면은 일과 학교 공부를 동시에 병행할 수도 있고요. 그리고 유학생들에 비해서 학비도 싸다는 것은 사실이죠. 그것도 빼놓을 수가 없겠죠.
After my interview with Justin, I got a sense that he preferred the U.S. over Korea.
제가 여기서 저를 도와줄 사람만 최소 한두 사람 있다면은 그러면 제가 여기서 평생 살더라도 상관없을 거라고 그렇게 생각해요.
Most of the Koreans I tried to interview were reluctant to be on camera. This was the case for another group of dual citizens people I had gotten to know while a student in San Diego. Mexico has the largest number of immigrants in the US and is 20 minutes from where I live. It has long been associated with illegal entry and so-called anchor babies. Before the Mexican government started to acknowledge dual citizenship in 2004, a number of people would travel into the U.S. and give birth here in order to obtain the baby's U.S. citizenship. Then they would return to Mexico and claim that the baby was born in Mexico, thus guaranteeing citizenship in both countries. When I knew that, I remembered the movie El Lambrista, based on incident known to have taken place at the U.S.-Mexican border in the 1970s. The movie tells the story of a Mexican woman who is in labor and deliberately jumps the border just as she is giving birth. She clings to a post to ensure she'll remain on the U.S. side and gives birth to a boy with dual citizenship. I got to know one such dual citizen who was a classmate of mine. I visited Mexico to meet her family. They spoke to me about their feelings about both countries.
Well, sometimes when I come to Mexico to visit my parents, I really feel more free, that there is more liberty here.
Yo pensé que si yo tenía la oportunidad de tenerla allá y que ella fuera de nacionalidad norteamericana, ella iba a tener más posibilidades que yo de tener éxito en la vida.
Cuando se decide que mis hijas nazcan en Estados Unidos, mi opinión al respecto lo consideré bien, puesto que siempre es mejor tener dos alternativas, o más bien otra alternativa, ¿no?, de vida para un hijo.
She has been well educated and she graduated from middle school magna cum laude.
When I was growing up, I found out that having two citizenships is good sometimes and sometimes it's not, because sometimes it's more difficult.
Entonces cuando ella llegó allá, pues decía, pues yo soy americana, pero las personas le preguntaban, ¿de dónde eres? Entonces como que ella entraba en conflicto porque sentía que su aspecto físico de ser de otra raza la hacía diferente a los demás, porque continuamente le preguntaban, ¿y tú de dónde eres?
I should say I'm both Mexican and American. I cannot say I am only Mexican because I cannot do that. I have been living there like 5 years now, and I lived 16 years of my life in Mexico, so. But the fact that I was born in San Diego, it's a big fact that I cannot erase. Dice que quiere que hagamos algo como reírnos.
En cuanto a los valores familiares de México y los valores de Estados Unidos, básicamente yo veo que existe una diferencia esencial por el sistema económico que existe. Por ejemplo, en Estados Unidos el capitalismo es más fuerte que en México.
The border is 1,969 miles long. It begins in southeastern Texas and passes through New Mexico, Arizona, and California. Finally, the border ends at the Pacific Ocean in California. The U.S. has spent $90 billion for securing the U.S.-Mexican border over 10 years. Increased security has made the illegal crossing more difficult and much more dangerous, causing the number of illegal immigrants to have dropped dramatically since 2008. But many still attempt to cross. Customs and Border Protection reports that it's about 500,000. Crowded up Hufflepuff pollos hanging near the border hoping to connect with coyotes, who guarantee safe passage for a high fee. At least $2,000 is needed for doing this. I knew what coyote meant, but when I learned that pollo means chicken, I felt sad. Officially, in the past 10 years alone, some 2,000 migrants, men, women, children, have died trying to cross the border illegally. I cannot imagine the unofficial number of Mexicans seeking greener pastures who were buried trying.
This is my first time seeing this part of the border, and this is like 3 times as tall. It's the first time I see it. I'm not trying to get advantage of that country, and because I'm living there, I also appreciate and acquire culture and I get to love that country. It's not as I'm just getting benefit. And
Another student I got to know in San Diego identified himself as a Chicano.
I mean, to me, they're not illegal immigrants. They're just immigrants. The fact is that Mexico and the U.S. have had this relationship for forever, you know, since both countries were established and prior to that too. I understand, you know, families come here and there's that history, there's that connection, and obviously they have babies, you know, so it's part of life. It's not, you know, it's just ignorance to try to demean a community by calling their children anchor babies.
Some people have said that foreign mothers aim to get a green card through their dual citizenship child, calling that child an anchor baby. But I want to ask, what happens after 20 years?
Now that I'm American citizen, but I'm still Mexican, it hurts to see that sometimes immigrants are mistreated or they're abused, humiliated just because they're trying to come to this country to make a better life. I like to know who in this country can say I'm native. America was formed by people coming from other countries, and it's still the people coming from all over the world is what makes this country so rich and beautiful.
As is implied by the phrase, the American dream, the U.S. is a land of opportunity for many people. For many people who have dual citizenship, perhaps the U.S. is more than a land of opportunity. It could be the homeland. The people I met during filming are all legally American. They would say that immigration is the key to American strength. That historically, America has always been a country of immigrants, a country that, in spite of cultural prejudice, ultimately promotes diversity, which in turn promotes further prosperity.
미국은 제 아이가 자랄 나라.
한국은?
한국은 제가 항상 그리운 제 나라.
The best way I can explain it is my heart is Korean. My mind is American.
Mexico is more sentimentally more meaningful to me. But the United States, it's like my future.
Es como ser ciudadano de dos países al mismo tiempo. Es algo pues que tenemos que enorgullecernos de eso, de que podemos tener eso.
Sino que es el aspecto más fundamental, pero sí sabemos que además del trabajo se abren muchas otras posibilidades.
And I would like my grandkids to know where we're coming from, because that's what I think what makes this country so rich, because there's so many cultures together.
I can't say that I'm completely Mexican or that I'm completely American, because by saying that I'm kind of denying a whole half of myself, kind of. So I consider myself both, and I feel lucky to be able to consider myself both.